Alright, let's work on our superstar. Don't sit there and do nothing because you're finishing up your quiz.
What quiz? I can't hold it. That's right.
The first one, there is a problem completely worked out, but it has an error in it. You need to work it out, find their mistake, and fix it.
What the world?
And like I said earlier, I suggest try this because you're finishing up your quiz. You didn't know how to do it the other day. You're not going to know how to do it today if you don't start trying, figuring out where you get stuck at. We're going to go over this. Then I'm going to put you 2 practice review problems up on the board, just like I did the other day. Then you're going to finish your quiz. You can do your key change opposite if you want to. Absolutely.
Question number 1 is something that you'll see a lot, especially as you get older and you start taking other type of tests, SAT or ACT or whatever. They love to know, can you find the mistakes? Because that not only shows them that you know what you're doing, but that you know how to apply it, use it, work backwards. Finding mistakes is a big, huge type of problem, type of challenge problem.
Which the way I solved these is I wrote the original problem down and I worked it out myself until what I did didn't match what they did and I found it.
Don't worry about what the problem looks like. Just write down the problem. 3x minus 2 times x minus 4 parentheses equals 5. Solve it the way you know to solve it. See if the answer's right or not. And then go back and compare what you worked and how you worked to what they have on the board. See if you can find a mistake, if there is a mistake. If you are normally in chorus for your connected class, stay in the band running. We're not in gym for 3 days.
Do we do, like, which problem right now?
First line.
Mary, what you going to talk to us about?
We're going to do it just a second. We'll go to this problem.
That wasn't the money.
In order to give y'all time to have time on your test to finish this, we're gonna have to start going over this pretty soon. So you don't have time to sit there and just mess around and not work it.
Coach, you were here last year? Yes, ma'am. Okay, you were here last year, Friday. And first period, you, second period. Oh, what was the chocolate?
That was Thursday.
Oh.
Alright, so on the problem 3x minus 2, then we have parentheses, x minus 4 equal to 5. Alright, Avery, what's the first thing you would do on this problem?
I'm not finished.
Avery, first thing you do,
Change the subtraction to addition.
okay? But not just change the addition, that makes you do what? Add the opposite, good, alright? So now if you add the opposite, Keisha, now what should we do? You got 3x plus a negative 2, then you got parentheses. What do you do next? Good. You distributed one thing inside the parentheses or both? Good. So when I distribute, do I do anything with that 3x or bring it down? 3x out.
Just right here.
We'll bring it down, right? Alright, and then when you distribute a negative 2 times an x, what did you write down then? Good. Plus what? Positive 8, awesome. Equal to 5.
We come over here and look at theirs. They got a negative 2x, but they got a negative 8. We got a positive 8. There's their mistake, right here.
Is it negative 3?
Supposed to be a positive 8, not a negative 8.
Alright, what would you do next, Eli? You had 3x plus a negative 2x plus 8 equals 5. What's the next thing you need to do?
You need, what? You need to, subtract this.
Before you can do that, there's
Negative
something.
8.
Alright, what do you think, Tommy? What should you do next? Very good. Combine like terms. So when I combine 3x plus a negative 2x, what does it give me?
1, 6.
Very good.
Which I can just write as x, right? I don't have to put the 1 in front of it, do I?
Yes. No.
Okay?
Alright, so do we have a mistake? Can you find a mistake on the left that they have versus what we have? What's the mistake there?
They got an X
They got a minus 8 and it should be a positive.
Which
Okay.
if we do this, we can make it look like ours. We've got a negative 8, we've got a positive 8.
Alright, now what do we need to do, Josiah? How do we get x by itself? What do you need to do?
How do I get rid of that 8? Subtract 8. Subtract 8. Those will cancel. 5 and negative 8.
Negative 3.
Signs. Subtract. Keep the signs larger. You get negative 3. Not positive 13.
I got negative 3.
Any
Questions?
questions?
This makes, what's 2 shots out?
Not important to math.
2 shot 5.
Alright, 3 plus 8b minus 9b equals 21.
Alright, Jackson, what should we do first? Good. Alright, Andrea, what's the next thing we need to do? Good, or do you give me you combine those? What'd you say, baby?
negative 1b, or if you just want to put negative b, that works too. Most of the time on like milestones and stuff, you're gonna see negative b.
Everything else, we let's bring it down, because you have 3 plus negative b equals to 21. All right, Alyssa, what do you want to do? Good, how do I get rid of 3? Good. All right, so what are we gonna bring down? Negative b equals, what are you getting, 21 minus 3 there? Okay. Good.
Can we have a negative variable? Cannot have a negative variable. We showed you 2 ways to get rid of it. We showed you the quick way, we showed you the math way. Does anybody remember the quick way? No? So let's look at the math way. What's technically in front of this v? A 1. How do I get rid of negative 1? But in the problem it's doing what? Multiplying. So how do I get rid of multiplying by negative 1? Divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. Now you have a positive v. 18 divided by negative 1 is negative 18. V. The quick way was, you had a negative v. To get rid of it, you do the opposite of this one, so you do the opposite of this one. Opposite of negative v is positive v. The opposite of positive 18 is negative 18. So you should have gotten B on that one.
Any questions on that? Why is yours blank? No.
Alright, I'm going to put these 2 practice problems up here. If you want to work it on scratch paper, that's fine. If you want to turn it over and work underneath Friday in that blank space on your Superstarter, underneath Friday, you can do that as well. These are going to be your last 2 practice problems before you get
Tony.
before you get your quiz back. So if you have questions, you need to be asking them now. I would suggest trying them to make sure you know how to do it. If you get stuck, that's where you need to be asking questions. I don't have time to wait all day if I'm going to give you plenty of time to go to the restroom and get your quiz done. Yes, you have to use your preserve and reverse rules in here. It's not an equal sign, it's an equality. And you've already seen your quiz, so you know the bottom 6 problems, you have to tell me preserve or reverse. The top 2 problems, you have to circle answers that will fit your answer. you get stuck at is where you need to ask a question here in just a second when I go over it. Last chance to ask questions because you know we can't answer them. Only thing on the test we can answer is stuff like, can there be more than one number circled on 1 and 2? I can't answer. Does this mean to do this? Or if I've got different signs, I subtract or do I add? I can answer those type of questions. I can answer how to answer the questions. Does this question mean this? Does this mean I can circle more than one? Is there only one answer? I can answer those type of questions, but not how to solve the problems. All right, start going over this. I want to give you plenty of time to work. All right, on this one, we always look at our coefficient. What's our coefficient? The number with the variable. Coefficient is the number with the variable. I look at it to determine whether I'm going to preserve it or reverse it. What is my coefficient in this? 2. Is it a positive 2 or a negative 2? It is a positive, so I'm going to preserve this, which means in the end, it is going to stay the exact same way. Guys, come in and pay attention because this is the last chance you're going to have to ask questions. I'm just starting, so y'all came in just in time. So, since the 2 was positive, I'm going to preserve it, which means in my answer, my sign is going to be the exact same way. Okay? Now I solve it just like I've solved it for the last 2-3 weeks. What do I want to get rid of first? The minus 6. How do I get rid of minus 6? Plus 6. Plus 6. 2m comes down. Different signs. I'm going to subtract and keep the sign larger. 18 minus 6 is 12. 18 is bigger. 18 is negative. So my 12 is negative. Now, in the problem, what is the 2 doing to the m? Multiplying. So how do I get rid of multiplication? Division. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. The 2's will cancel. I got my m by itself. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Negative divided by positive is negative. M is greater than negative 6. Now, if you're not sure about these symbols, use what you know about that open gator mouth. Open gator mouth is always open to the bigger number, which means this has to be bigger than that. Which means when I read this, m is greater than negative 6. So any number on our number line bigger than negative 6, so negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up. Any of those numbers will work.
Why this side is less than?
Because if you look at it like this, if it would have been this way, it's not. I'm just answering his question. The open gator mouth is always open to the bigger number, which means this has to be less than that. If the open gator mouth is open to the bigger number, this is bigger, this is smaller. So this is less than that, which means this is greater than that. All right, any questions on that one? Sir?
How do you know if this works?
You always look at your coefficient. It's the number in front of the variable. This was 2m. The number in front, you ask, is it a positive or is it a negative? If it's a positive, you're going to preserve it, which means it's going to stay the same. If it's a negative, you would reverse it and you would take this and flip it the other direction.
And Josiah, we have to know that because after tomorrow we're going to start putting all these on a number line. And it's very important, that tells you we need to preserve it, that's where we need to go when we place it on the number line. So that's why we're doing the reverse and preserve now, make sure we understand before we put it on the number line. That's what we're going to tomorrow. And just remember, if it's positive, you put a P, that means you preserve it. The two P's go together.
All right, let's look at the next one. And I told you the other day, before you ever look for your positive and negative coefficient, if it's got distributive property, you always what? Do the distributive property first. So negative 3 times x is negative 3x plus negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. Now, let's ask ourselves, is our coefficient, the number attached to the variable, is it positive or negative?
Negative.
It's negative, which means we are going to reverse it, which means in the end, instead of it open to the left, it's got to swap and be open to the right. That's all that means. Everything else you solve it just like we solved this one, just like you solved it with equal signs, just like you've solved them every day for the past 3 or 4 weeks. So what do I want to get rid of first? The negative 9. How do you get rid of a negative 9? Positive 9. I got one person with me. Those cancel. I'm left with negative 3x. Over here I've got different signs. Subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number. 15 minus 9 is 6. 15 is bigger and it's negative, so my 6 is negative. What do I do now?
You divide.
Divide, because in the problem it's telling me to multiply, so you always do the opposite of what the problem tells you. Got my x equals 6 divided by 3 is 2, negative divided by negative is a positive. So this means x is less than 2. So if this was a question like 1 or 2, and they gave you numbers like negative 1, 1, 2, and negative 2, which of those 4 choices is less than 2? Is negative 1 less than 2? Is 1 less than 2? Is 2 less than 2? Is negative 2 less than 2? So in this case, it would be 3 answers. Any questions? Last chance.
Hello. I didn't negative 9.
Yes, any number less than 2. So if my number line was 3, 2, 1, 2 is right here. So that means any number below 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, all the way down to negative infinity. Any negative number is going to be less than 2.
What do very high
You do like a positive divided by positive, and you're going to be a negative.
Positive. Positive divided by, if it's ever multiplying and dividing, same signs is always going to be positive. Different signs is always going to be negative. Now, what was your question for me?
I still have a great assignment on this.
You're finishing up the one from the other day. We started it Friday. You're finishing it up today. Last chance. All right, clear everything off your desk. Everything but a pencil. In order to give y'all time to complete this, we're going to send y'all to the bathroom as a group, as a table, not as all boys or all girls.
I forgot to get some more.
Just the groups. Even if you finish it, I'm going to hand it back to you, give you a chance to look back over it again.
All right, Mr. Martin's giving you back your paper. Alex. Even if you think you're finished, Dakota, go back and look at it. Your answer on the bottom 6 should have 2 parts. It should have a P if you're preserving it. It should have an R if you have to reverse the inequality. Do not just give me an answer, because if you don't have a P and a R, that's one X for each one. Even though there are 8 problems, or excuse me, 7 problems, there are really more answers than that. Because the bottom section, the bottom 6, had 2 answers each. I just want to make sure the days you did do those. Also, do not give me an answer that just says 12, or even that says x equals -5. Because we're not doing equal signs, that's equations. This is called inequalities. So if you have circled on your paper for number 2, the number -36, then that's wrong. Even if the number part is right, even if it's -30 the number part, if you don't have the inequality, then you did not solve that problem. Does that make sense?
So,
Because I had somebody's paper I looked at a while ago, which just giving me numbers as answers, and some of the numbers were right, but the answer to the problem's not right because we're doing inequalities. Eli, right here, Friday, let me give you a sheet.
so Miss Claire, like the stuff that can be possible equal the X.
Did you pull out in here?
No, I'm afraid to.
It's not in the stack. This one's got a name on it. That's the only other one.
I'm not that beauty stuff, but I don't know if I can speak of this. This has a name on it.
Just start from where you were on stack 10. We'll find it. This table right here.
So these are on the way.
As long as, if it says reverse it, then you reverse it. It doesn't matter.
Nobody needs to go with this table?
On my paper, I look the same way, so like, I know which way. So just make sure that it's pointing at the M here. If it was the other way, it was still pointing at the M. See what I'm saying? Because you can't change the answer. You can put the variable first if the answer comes, but you have to make sure that the inequality stays the same. Okay? So that's one.
I don't remember if any has this one or not. I had to work them out. Just double check your steps and make sure you did everything right. As long as you did everything right and it has a decimal, it has a decimal. But I don't, I had to work them out to know for sure.
Yes, but it's just however I decide to use, I just follow the one so it was here whenever I decide I want to use it. It's gonna be, probably what's gonna happen is, through the day, as we're working, if you're off task, I'll write your name down, which means you won't get out of my bucket at the end of class. All right. Your grade will be, you have to call it permanent record. If you're not enrolled in another school, that's your records. Whatever you withdraw from here, they'll send a message, so I will Malachi's that record, you have to submit it.
It's gonna be even worse if you don't get it done. You get finished, turn it in to Miss Garrett, do something without talking. Whether it's read, whether it's put your head down, something that you will not talk with.
So that 8, so that's double that all right.
Remember, if you want to check and see if it's right, you can always plug back in.
Well, four times 8 is 36, right? Well, no, that's 32.
We can't answer that.
4 times 9. Are you talking to how do you got more than that? Y'all never make mistakes. Is that first period?
First period, second period. This group right here, if you need to go to the restroom.
You can't answer it.
So we're doing the same thing that we did like 26 on that
All
front.
you do is solve it.
You have to, this, the number may be right. but the-
Remember, on the bottom 6, if you don't have P for preserve and R for reverse, that's part of your credit off.
What if you get to find, like, when they have
The
a
sign is
minor
wrong. Because if you've got the inequality wrong, then your whole problem is wrong.
Cause what?
Why the numbers, why you gotta change the number and that's the number already?
Like these, we're gonna do this. Is that, like you really, you need to show in it. Like you.
Today is the new day.
This will be a positive, sometimes a negative number if you go ahead and do that. If you go ahead and do your keep change opposite, this is a positive number and that's a negative. You keep the same plus, but that would be a positive times a negative once you do your keep change opposite. Y'all need to go to the restroom, that's fine.
Cause I'm doing that. Coach.
I can't tell you if it's right or not.
I don't know.
How am I supposed to answer that without telling you it's right or not?
No, just say, yeah, it looked like.
You started off right on number 1.
Like glow.
Remember, when you're finished, go ahead and turn in to Miss Merritt and do something quietly at your desk. Whether it's read a book, whether it's put your head down, something that you will not talk while you're doing it.
Two hot glue gun is back there. I press it. Oh. I bet it will. Put it inside there. It's sticking out. Stick. These kids too rough. I think they trying to get some friends.
Do the best I can, but I'll be doing it on my planning, okay?
Alright. Ooh, I hope I don't got her from this number.
Never mind, it was canceled. If you have course, you're now gonna go back to the auditorium as normal. The ceremony was canceled.
I'm gonna go get them out of the bathroom.
Malachi has a test paper. I'll do it later. Okay.
Is the reserve when you have the negative on the variable? The reserve. That's the sad one. I want to go.
If you're still working, you got about 13 minutes.
I'm tired.
tell you. Go back and double check everything.
Oh, I see.
Josiah, Malachi.
Okay.
Corbin Carter, come get this paper, sir. And I think I said before we got started, you cannot just give me an answer. I have to have the inequality. The variable, the inequality symbol, and then the answer. Because some of these answers are correct, but you're gonna get them all wrong because you don't have the inequality.
We don't know if it's greater than that number, less than that, equal that number, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to that number.
Oh my God.
Demona. Number 3, are you preserving or reversing? That's the only one you don't have it on already. I don't want to mark it wrong because you've got all the rest of them right. You just overlook that one.
Miss Mary, what I need?
I think it's great right now. I thought you missed that one. You got it, baby. You done?
Got about 8 minutes, those of y'all still working.
Okay, but I said before, you gotta do better.
Why are you trying to get rid of it? It takes by itself, that's what you're trying to do.
When I used to drunk, it
You got rid of that. You got rid of that, you're left with X. So that's what X is. I don't know what you're trying to do. The whole goal is to get X by itself. And you got X by itself. Whenever you get X by itself, that's your answer.
Corbin Carter, please erase my board.
What you made on the other one? The other one, do you get a grade? What you made on that?
Little marks on like a bag there. Well, I saw it fall.
Right there last period. But I think when I saw it fall, I could see it green and it's like plastic. When I saw it over here just a minute ago, I saw it back there.
So if you still with your paper, you got 3 minutes.
Right up, sit down.
You gotta leave.
I did his shoes off.
Okay, have you created mine?
Man, why you to do that, Miss Mary?
Do what?
The devil won't miss you, I do.
That's all I'm the teacher, that's how it goes.
I'll be like, the bell don't tell me to come to class, I do. Don't blow it.
Yeah, it does. And if you're not in here by the time it rings, you're out, you're retarded.
I'm myself. You won't.
You got it, turn it in.